Okay, what's up, y'all? It's Bonnie Love. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. I already read up on this story. I'm gonna read a little bit more of it out loud for you guys, for those that don't know, and then I'm gonna give my input about what's going on with Miss Kenya Moore. Um, Before I get into the read, Kenya Moore. Uh, Real Housewives of Atlanta, former USA beauty pageant winner years ago. Very pretty. Um, African American, Real Housewives of Atlanta cast member. I don't. I never understood why she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta because she was not a housewife. She was on the show and it was about housewives, and she wasn't a housewife. Everybody else was, but her. Um, And I used to think, well, maybe that's some of the reason why she, felt the need to rush into being with somebody, because she was like the only person on the show without a man. But now that I look back, it's like, it's more of a, I think, my personal opinion, she wanted a baby. Kenya was getting older. She's getting older. She was in her middle 40s at that time, and I think she just wanted a child. I think that's mainly what this was, this hookup. I mean, it could have had something to do with loneliness too. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take that part away from it, but I think she really just wanted a child. So the fact that they have broken up over such a short period of time, her and Mark Daly, is not really a shock to me. I'm gonna read a little bit of this so that you guys that don't know what's going on with her can, kind of, after this read, you'll get more of a general idea. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Kenya Moore leaves Mark Daly after 2 years of marriage. The two met through a mutual friend in 2016, hitting it off very quickly. Moore, who was a former Miss USA, joined the Real Housewives of Atlanta on season 5. The beauty queen's in your face attitude often caused clashes between the other ladies. She bonded well with model Cynthia Bailey, but their friendship caused an issue with Nene Leakes, who did not want to share Bailey. That's somewhat true. That's somewhat true. I'm reading, I'm reading something online, and sometimes I agree with that stuff, and sometimes I don't, but I do agree with this here. Moore left the show after season 10 ended in 2018. She met and married Mark Daly in 2017 on a St. Lucia beach, and the couple's first child came along soon after. Before I get into any more of this reading, I'm gonna give a little bit of commentary. I just think that I, Kenya was getting a lot older. Kenya was in her 40s. And you have some women that really are hard up for having a child if they haven't had one by that age. It's a little bit harder on the body to have a child in your 40s, especially your middle 40s. It's just a lot tougher to carry, or not carry, but it's not as, for a lot of women, it's not a smooth transition most of the time. Um, as it is for somebody in their late teens, 20s, or 30s. Once you get to your 40s, it's a little bit harder. And then once you get to 50 and 60, it's almost kind of like it's a wrap. So in my opinion, it was like she knew that her time was drawing near, as far as like her biological clock was ticking. She wanted a baby. The baby is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. No shade at all to that baby. I never shade a baby. The baby is gorgeous. They both have a gorgeous child. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a child. There's nothing wrong with it. But, at her age, I just felt like she wanted to rush into some things because her time was winding down. Um, it's just not a shock to me that Miss Kenya Moore is leaving her husband. It's and I'm really not trying to say that in a negative way. It's just that it to me, in my opinion, which I'm entitled to, my opinion, her reason for getting with him was mainly centered around wanting to conceive and maybe a little bit of loneliness. And it's normal to get lonely. It's normal if you don't have anybody. That's going to happen because we're human beings and we're meant to interact with each other. That human beings are social creatures by nature. So if she hadn't been with anybody for a while, as far as like a serious committed relationship, then it makes sense for her to yearn that. But so I'm not knocking that either. I'm just saying that I do not believe that the relationship, marriage, was built on solid ground. It was all about motive. There's nothing wrong with wanting certain things there's nothing wrong with wanting a child. There's nothing wrong with wanting companionship. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it needs to be a little bit more than that. You have to be into that person for who they are. You love them for them. And I'm not saying that she didn't. I'm not saying he didn't. Nobody truly knows their relationship but them. But the way it looks to us, well, I ain't gonna say us, me and a lot of other people, because I've, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I always thumb through comments. I look to see, public's perspective, how they think about, what's hot in the news, especially celebrity news. And a lot of people share the same opinion that I do, that they were not surprised and that Miss Kenya Moore just wanted to have a baby. Beautiful baby, but the relationship, if that's all it was built on, was just because you wanted to have a baby and you didn't, you got tired of lonely nights, then it's not going to last. It's not going to last. I never, as far as the show, I want to speak about that too a little bit. I never understood, and that's a show I don't review. I don't even watch Real Housewives of Atlanta anymore. I used to. That used to be my show, my number one show. I used to watch that show all the time. Once Kenya and Phaedra were no longer there, I began to lose interest. They replaced her with, I think one of them got replaced with Eva from America's Next Top Model. She's a beautiful girl. Eva's a beautiful girl. And she's definitely got some talent. But she just didn't. I didn't like the replacement. I didn't like that I just didn't feel she should have. I mean, they can do what they want. They can put whoever they want on the show. But I just didn't like her being on there. I just didn't feel the show was the same after Kenya and Phaedra were gone. Now, Kenya, even though my opinion, and it will always stand, I feel like, why was Kenya even on the show? I feel like that to an extent. Why were you even on the show when you weren't even a housewife? You weren't married to anybody, so why are you on the Real Housewives of Atlanta if you're not a housewife? It just didn't make sense. But then on the flip side of things, she brought a lot of drama to the show, which is probably why they kept her on for as long as they did. And I think that when you on a show and you're not really supposed to be on there based on what the show is about, I'm starting to see a pattern now. Like, I'll use Married to Medicine for an example. Now, I do review that show. I love that show. That's my favorite reality show right now. I done got obsessed. I'm obsessed with Married to Medicine. crazy as it sounds, but I am, because I think that's the best. I think that's the best reality show on TV right now. But getting back to what I was saying, Quad. If you watch the show, Quad is not married to Medicine anymore. Her and Dr. G are getting a divorce. If they're not divorced already, I think they're still going through the process. But I think they're still legally married. But I think they're going through the process of a divorce. He's not on the show anymore. He's not on season 7. Well, nobody knows what the rest of season 7 is going to entail. He may pop up on an episode later on in the season. We don't know. The season just started. Today will make episode 3. But so far, he has not been on the show. So he's a doctor. You were supposed to be married to a doctor. You were. Now you're not married to him anymore, so why are you still on Married to Medicine? I say all of that to say Quad brings the drama. Quad is very dramatic. And the stuff she does on the show now, even without her being Married to Medicine anymore, it gets those ratings up ridiculous. I mean, they got us like hanging on now. Can't wait to watch it tonight to see what the fuck's going to happen after what she did last week. So I say all of that to say that's probably why Kenya was still on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, because even without a husband, because she wasn't a housewife at that time, because Kenya was very messy. And she kept a lot of drama and bullshit going on the show. So I never understood why she was still on there at one point, but then over time it was just like, okay, it's making sense now. Kenya is very dramatic, and she's probably dramatic on purpose to keep her place on the show, because the bitch knows she ain't even supposed to be on there. Same with Quad. Quad knows she ain't supposed to be on that goddamn show, but she's on there on Married to Medicine, but she's on there bringing hella drama, having us, you know what I'm saying, like on the edge of our seats. Can't wait until tonight's episode come on. We've been hanging on all week. Can't wait to see what's going to go down next. Because she knows she has to bring that type of drama. She got to be dramatic as all fuck in order to be able to keep her place on that show. And I would have to say the same with Kenya. But getting back to the whole situation with Kenya and her breaking up with her husband, it's not a surprise to me. Under no circumstances at all. It seemed like she just wanted to have a baby. And she was probably to the point where she was extremely lonely. She did not have a man on Real Housewives of Atlanta for a long time. I mean, she was just messy as hell on there. I mean, she was suspected of fucking around with Phaedra's husband and all kinds of stuff, using her sex appeal to get at that man. She knew damn good and well that, Phaedra's husband, before he went to jail, fuck was his name, Apollo? She knew that he was going to be turned on by her sex appeal. Kenya is not a bad-looking girl. Kenya's not ugly. I think she's very pretty. And that's why she made it to beauty pageant, Miss USA, because of how she looks. Even at 40-something years old going on 50, she's still got a serious body. She's not a bad-looking chick. Not ugly at all. I give props where props is due. If you're pretty, you're pretty. Some people don't think she's all that attractive. She not bad-looking. And she knew her looks was going to tempt that man. And it did. Apollo wanted her. And I'm just saying that she didn't have a man on the show. That's what I'm getting at. She was flirting with other cast members' husbands. You know what I'm saying? So all that time she was on the show, she was just lonely, and she was flirting with other people's men. So that's probably why she just went on ahead and fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and fuck around with Mark Daly. I can go ahead and probably, my nights won't be lonely no more, and I'm gonna go ahead and get me a baby out the deal. You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much all I wanted to. I was gonna read further into this article. Well, maybe I should keep reading. Okay, yeah, I am. I was getting ready to wrap this video up, but I'm not. I'm gonna keep reading. The shocker came September the 19th, and even though she has her housewife status back, it does not seem like the couple plans on reconnecting, even though they have their 10-month-old daughter, Brooklyn, to think about. In her announcement, the reality star said she was sad and regretful that she had to tell her fans about her impending divorce. She said they have separated due to a recent and continuing circumstance. Oh, I'm glad I kept reading. I was getting ready to wrap this shit up. Nobody knows. Okay, let's see. Wait a minute. She continued to say that her focus had and always would be her daughter, and she is her miracle child. Of course, that right there just ain't no miracle. What's a miracle? But then it's not. She knows she planned that. She planned to have that child. It wasn't an issue of, oh, she just, we've been fucking and she just came out of us just fucking all the time. No. You had every intention to lay down with that man and have him impregnate you. You wanted a baby bad as a motherfucker. That's what that was. He asked for privacy and for rumors to not be spread, and that would hurt his already upset family. What? My thing is, what do they expect? They celebrities, they in the spotlight. You think people not going to talk about you? You think there's so many videos right now on YouTube, people talking about the tea with Kenya and her ex-husband. Well, soon to be ex-husband. I mean, you cannot stop people. Okay. So back in July, Moore had revealed she got her peach again and will be returning to the hit Bravo show. Okay, so she's supposed to be getting ready to come back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. If that's the case, I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch. Because even though I have the opinion that I have about her, I enjoyed her on the show. I want to be entertained. Let me speak on that a little bit. I want to be entertained. I see people, because like I'm in Facebook groups and stuff like that, and I see people in the groups for reality shows, different ones, talk about how shit is scripted and it's phony and they don't like it because it's phony and this and this and that. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm the type of person that if it's scripted to the point where it's going to entertain me, script that motherfucker all the way to the highest mountain. Script it. I don't give a fuck. Entertain me. I want to be entertained. I like watching reality shows. I like, the drama of it, the emotions that reach an all-time high, and they in there beefing and carrying on, and it's good to look at. It makes for banging ass TV. Don't matter to me none. I want to see Kenya back on the show. I'll watch it then. I don't like who they replaced her with. My favorite people: Portia, Phaedra, Kenya. I like Candy. I like them all. Cynthia was okay. She had a very passive nature, so she didn't really bring too much drama to the show. Her husband did, Peter, when he was on the show, because you could tell he was abusive to her. But, those were my favorite cast members on that show. Bring me the drama. You can script that shit all the way down to the bottom. It ain't gonna make me no difference. I want to be entertained. So even though I feel the way that I do about Kenya, and I have my opinion of her, which is not going to change, I still like her on the show because she brought forth the drama. Okay, so only this past week, the couple had made an appearance on the Tamron Hall show. And yes, they were on the Tamron Hall show. And this is what a lot of people have been talking about lately. She was just on there talking about how much she loved her husband. She was telling Tamron Hall, if you all don't know who Tamron Hall is, she has her own show. If you ever watched TLC, the TLC network, Sister Wives, I do know that she has been the host at the tell-alls for Sister Wives. So I don't think she had been recently in recent seasons. She may have. So I still have to get caught up on that show as well. I'm a little behind. I was binge watching and then I stopped. I gotta get back to it. But a few of the tell-alls, Tamron Hall was the host. So she at one time she was really, and a couple of other reality shows. I do believe 90 Day Fiance, she was the host on that show as well. So for the Tell All. So she's been more prevalent on TLC, but now she's got her own show. Kenya Moore, getting back to what I was saying, Kenya Moore was on the show and she was just telling everybody about how, and talking about how much she loved her husband and this and that. And speaking out about their IVF journey, acting as a solid couple. Moore even gushed about how Daly was the love of her life and was very lucky to be able to call him her husband. Yes, I think that was for show. I think that was bullshit. Had to be. You were just on the Tamron Hall show and now you're breaking up with your husband? Come on now. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. But we have our opinions about it because you're celebrities and you're putting it out there. You're putting it out to the world that you love this man 1 minute and then the next minute you're getting a divorce. So, and you're splitting up. So it's like we have every right to, you're giving the vloggers every right to do videos on your shit. You're celebrities, right? Okay, so you're giving the vloggers every right to do it. You're giving your fans every right to have an opinion and comment whatever way that they want. All of that shit about, oh, y'all need to just mind your business. You're just jealous of her and this and this and that. People say that throughout my videos when I talk about other celebrities and TV reality show stars and shit like that. And my thing is, shut the fuck up. These people are in the public eye. So the public has every right to have an opinion whether you like it or not. They don't want their business judged, then they shouldn't tell it. And they shouldn't be in the public eye. So, okay, that's it. I'm out of here. My ending credits will have information on where you can find me on other platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Please do follow and subscribe. And hit me with your comments. Let me know what you think. Are you surprised? That's really what I want to know about, as far as how you thinking. Are you surprised that Kenya Moore is not with her husband anymore? I mean, like, let me know what you're thinking. I'm out. Peace and blessings.